Welcome to Tigner Adventures. My name is David, and my wife Ninette and our little cat Tansy. We live full-time in our motorhome. And one of the things that you have to do quite often when you're at least full-timing is you have to back up your rig. So we're going to kind of talk about that today. Now, in this particular case, I borrowed this party wagon from the resort that we're staying at right now. It's something they loan out to people when they want to have a little party at their unit. They've graciously let me borrow this to kind of show you if I can even back a trailer up. I haven't backed a trailer up for so long. But we're going to kind of go through that today, show you some principles that might help you when you're trying to back up. When you're backing up your rig, like a motorhome, to me it's a lot simpler because you have a lot better view of everything. But no matter what you do, it's always simpler when you're backing up to have a spotter. So those of you that are solos, grab somebody that's around you somewhere and just say, hey, can you guide me? And hopefully they know how to guide you. All right. So basically, just make sure that they can see you in your mirrors, because that's what we're using today, our mirrors. He's not gonna be able to see us because they're standing behind the trailer. Okay. And so they won't be able to see me if I'm the one trying to back up. So, but they just have to be able to see my face in the mirror. That's a good spotter. And then they hopefully can tell you the directions right. Correctly also. But anyway, if you have a spotter, it does make it a lot simpler. So in this case, I'm just doing this on my own, and so I'm just going to use my mirrors. I'm going to kind of talk through how to use the mirrors a little bit. If you've noticed here, I'm in kind of the middle. Now I'm kind of trying to mimic being in an RV park. You have rigs parked on both sides of you, and you've got to get into a small type area. So I'm kind of in the middle, and I'm gonna try to turn to get into my spot. Now, I want to have enough room on this right side here that I can maneuver my vehicle without hitting the trailers on my right here. So I want to be over here as close as I can, so I have some maneuverability to line me up on the left over here, to give me some maneuvering room over here on the left too. Now, in my motorhome, I do it a little differently because the wheels are so far ahead of the back of the vehicle that my tail swing is so big that I typically kind of line up my wheels with the spot I'm going to turn into. Now with this trailer here, we're going to back it slowly around and try to hit this one spot. We'll see how well we do. But I'm trying to give myself a little bit of turning radius because I don't have a lot of maneuverability with the tongue of the trailer. It's pretty short, and I don't want to jackknife the trailer and actually take the trailer or my car and have them hit each other, and then I damage one of those two things. So that's because the tongue is so small. Now, if you're on a fifth wheel, you have more maneuverability, but you got to be careful also that the actual fifth wheel front piece can't hit the cab of your truck. I have seen that happen a couple times now. So if you don't have one of those hitches where you could actually go 45 with your trailer, with your truck and your fifth wheel, then without hitting each other, then you got to really pay attention to the same thing that I'm paying attention to here with this short hitch. So in a lot of ways, a trailer is a lot harder to back up than a motorhome in my view. Now, these backing up tips I'm giving you, these are my view. If you guys have some ideas, please put them in comments for everybody else, because we can all use some help when it comes to backing up. And of course, the more you do it, the better you get. So if you can find just an empty parking lot like I'm in right now, and you can just keep practicing and practicing and practicing until you feel comfortable, because when you get to an RV park, then you have a lot of spectators, and then it starts making you a little nervous and you have a harder time doing everything. So I watched one guy the other day. I swear he backed in and out probably at least 15-20 times. He just kind of kept until he finally got in there. And I watched him for about 3 minutes through my window in my rig, and then it's like, okay, I'm not watching that guy anymore. I don't know. He is having such a hard time. I don't even want to give him make him feel like I'm watching him or anything. So give him some space, and it's good to do that. It's always jokes, when, oh, here's somebody going to back up, let's get our lawn chairs out and watch. But that's not really the best thing to do, but sometimes it can be pretty comical. So anyway, don't be one of those. If you can avoid it, practice ahead of time, and that's what we're doing right here. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to show you some things, and I'll show you in the car kind of what I look at. And in this case, I'm using my car, and then I'll show you kind of, we'll talk about a motorhome also. All right, so in this case, I'm sitting in the car and I'm looking straight ahead like I'm driving. Now, when I'm gonna back up, I always set my mirrors, so if I just kind of turn this way, you can see that I can see behind me on my left, and I can see behind me on my right. Now, I can't really see the trailer at this point per se. I'm just seeing what's out there, and what I've done is I've actually moved my mirror so that I can't really see the side of my car, because I'm kind of looking for my blind spots when I'm driving. But when I'm backing up, I actually want to see it. But see, when I'm driving, if I have that little mirror sticking out there more to the left, because I don't have one of those little concave mirrors, then I can kind of see people coming up on my blind spot a little bit. And all I have to do is kind of move my head to the left just a little bit, and you will see the trailer. Okay, so all I'm doing is just kind of moving my head that way a little bit farther with the camera, but my head doesn't have to move much. And if I look over here, it's the same way. I can see the side of my car. So anyway, so that's just a tip for just driving down the road. But when I am gonna back up, then I like to adjust those mirrors so that they're pointing more in and also down a lot. And then that gives me the ability to kind of see where that back tire is going on the actual trailer. And the same way over here. So if I turn over on this side, then I'm going to adjust this mirror in so I can see the trailer and down a little bit. So I can kind of see what's going on. And then that makes backing up a lot simpler. Okay, so now I have my wheel here. And this is always the most confusing thing for people, is that when you're backing up, you've got to turn your wheel the opposite way that you want to back. And so I'm actually going to back the trailer to my left. And so to do that, I've actually got to turn my wheel to the right. Now, some people, put their hand down here and say, okay, I'm going to go to the left, then I'm going to turn it to the left, I'm going to go to the right, I'm going to turn it to the right. So if that makes it easier for you, great. Now, one of the things that we got to talk about is the distance from the back of our car, our hitch right there, that pivot point, to the trailer wheels. Okay, some people think that, oh, if I'm going to get a trailer, I want to get a small one because it'll be easier to back up. And that's actually the opposite, because what happens is the closer the wheels are to the car, the quicker the trailer actually turns. So the farther the wheels are back from the car, then you've got to turn the wheels on the car a long ways to get the trailer to start moving. And so you can see that with big semis when they back into parking lots. I mean, man, they swing their front engine there all the way to the one side to get the back to just move a little bit. It's really pretty amazing. But the other thing that you want to pay attention to is, like, some people say, okay, my wife is saying, oh, a little teardrop would be pretty easy to back up. Well, not really, because see, I can look out my mirror right here and I can see my trailer. And so I can see exactly what it's doing. When you have those little teardrops or really little trailers that are only about 4 feet across, and my car in this case is 6 feet, then I can't see the trailer until, it's already turning one way or the other. And so by the time I see it, it's already there. And sometimes that can be very, very difficult to compensate for, and you end up having to pull forward and back up, pull forward and back up quite a bit. So hopefully with this setup, where I can actually see the trailer back there through my mirrors, it makes it a little bit simpler, because I can, as I make movements in the steering, I see them immediately within the trailer. The other thing is in this case, this trailer is pretty much the same width as my car. And so it makes it simple for me just to watch it. But if I had a big fifth wheel, for example, a lot of times you'll see these big fifth wheels with big trucks that have dual tires on the back and everything. And so they're kind of wide, but the trailer's really wide, right? The trailer's 8 feet wide. And so if you have a skinnier vehicle than the trailer, then what you have to do is have mirrors that stick out so you can see down the side of the trailer, because you really want to see those wheels when you're driving down the road. You're going to just kind of tilt your head a little bit. You want to see it, okay? And so that's the whole idea with the trailers and the wheels. So now we're going to go ahead and back up. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm looking through my mirror, and I'm trying to see the lines back there that I'm going to actually hit. So because I want to go to the left, I'm going to turn my wheel to the right. And remember, my tongue is pretty small on my trailer, so I can't turn too far because I don't want the trailer to come around and hit my car. So we're looking through the mirror here, and we're going to just kind of turn. See, the trailer is kind of moving to the left. I'm moving my wheel to the right, and as it starts to turn there, then I want to actually move the car wheel back to the right. And the reason for that is I'm going to follow the trailer around. So here we go. And I just kind of keep moving back and forth. And you can see, even though I'm turning around there, the trailer's still turning a little bit. So I gotta be really careful, and I'm trying to aim for that white line back there. And you can see I'm just kind of going around there. Oh, and you can see that I'm kind of getting a lot closer to that white line coming in there. So what I want to do is I'm going to actually pull forward just a little bit. So I'm turning my wheel back straight, and I'm going to pull forward just a little bit. You can see as I do, the trailer kind of comes back just a little bit. And now I can go ahead, and what I'm doing now is turning my wheel to the right so that it gets the trailer to go to the left. And it's coming over there a little bit. I'm going to pull up just a little bit again. All right. And then we're going to turn back over and straighten it out. So now I can also look back over here on this other side to see what's kind of going on over there. See, just kind of straighten that trailer out, and we are there. Now, practice makes perfect. Let's just remember that. All right, so we have parked the trailer where we want it. So, works out pretty nice if you have a little bit of maneuvering room. Now, the less room you have, then the more smaller turns, and you got to pull back and forth a little bit more than you would normally have to. So, but practicing it, that's all the key to it, is just practicing. All right, so now we're going to back up our car as though it was our motorhome. Now, I usually try to be a little kind of in the center or a little bit to the left just a bit. It really kind of depends, because my motorhome has a big tail swing on it, and the front has to go way over. And so I need to have more maneuverability on my right. Now I'm in a car, so it's not quite the same. And I've got the mirror right here that I can look at. I'm gonna go into that stall that's second from where the trailer's parked right now. And over here, I got my mirror so I can see where I'm at on this side. So with that said, this is a little simpler too, because the direction I turn my wheel is the direction my back end goes. So I'm going to turn my wheel to the left, and what I'm trying to do is I'm following, it's the second line. So we're just going to kind of work our way around. And you can kind of see I'm having a harder time because I'm trying to watch the camera and try to figure out where I'm going. So hopefully it's a little easier for you guys to kind of watch, but I'm just kind of coming around there. And as I come into the spot, the thing I want to look at is over on this side. So you can see that I've kind of missed it over here, right? So I'm going to pull out just a little bit. And then we'll come back again the rest of the way. So I'm just looking through on the left here, and then if I look over here on the right, I can see the lines over there. So now I'm just going to kind of back up into there. And again, look back over here. So I'm just kind of lining myself up here along this white line. another little practice session that you can actually do is actually just backing up across the parking lot. So in this particular case, I've got 3 parking stalls, and I'm just going to back up and stay between these white lines. And if you notice, so I'm backing up, I'm looking in the left camera here. This is the right camera. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to just back up between stalls, okay? And just try to keep your car within there. All you're doing is getting used to backing up using your mirrors. You can't look behind you because there's a big rig behind you, or you have no back window. And you're just looking back, and you just kind of keep doing that kind of scenario. Now, when I actually learned how to actually back up a truck, I actually had to back down a windy road. And so that gives you a lot more obstacles and things to avoid, and it just gives you the opportunity to just get used to using your mirrors all the time. And so I don't ever use this mirror up here on the middle of my car because, well, first of all, my motorhome doesn't have one. And then usually I have everything piled up in the back of my car anyway because it's a storage unit, so I can't use that mirror very well anyway. So I always use my side mirrors. So you just got to get used to doing that when you're RVing, because that's critical for you. Okay, so backing up is a skill. It's something that's, I always say, like when I'm playing games, luck is better than skill when you're playing games. But in the case of backing up, skill is better than luck. Because at some point, luck's gonna run out and you're gonna have an accident. So you really need to figure out the skill portion of backing up, utilizing your mirrors. And if you can just do the piece where you're just backing down, backing up, do the little exercise I was doing there where you just kind of back along using both mirrors and just keep backing through the whole parking lot, then, it helps you be able to get used to using your mirrors. Okay, so that's the first thing. When you're backing up a vehicle, it's a lot simpler, but depending on the length of the vehicle can create challenges for you also. So you just need to come out into an empty parking lot, nothing around, no posts or cars or anything to run into, and just start practicing and getting used to the size of your rig, whatever it is, in the case of a motorhome. Now, in the case of a trailer, the same idea. You got to figure out how, you got to remember, when you're in these RV parks or campgrounds or things like that, there's not a lot of room to maneuver sometimes. And sometimes it is going to take a little bit of jockeying to get into the actual site that you're trying to get into. And so the more you can practice in an empty parking lot, the better off that you're going to be, and the safer and less chance that you're going to create some kind of damage either to something in the area, like someone else's vehicle or your own. Now again, a spotter or 2 or 3 spotters, whatever, are very, very helpful. And the other thing is that when, something that makes spotting really easy, a spotter stands back there and they're giving you hand signals, and half the time you don't understand what they're saying, right? So that's a challenge between the spotter and the driver. So if you use your cell phone, so I tell people, most places, especially RV park areas, they typically have cell service. And so, get your partner or someone else to get on the cell phone, and you just put your cell phone, if you remember in past videos, I have a place I just mount my cell phone up on the dash. And so just put it there and put it on speakerphone, and then that way they can talk you through all the maneuvering, and you can concentrate on looking at lines and things like that, or whatever in your mirrors and in front of you, while they're just talking to you. It makes life a lot simpler. So another thing to use is a radio. Now I did a video on right here that talked about ham radios, but you can get radios that are made for people that don't have licenses. So they're going to be using the some band that's not very powerful. They can just talk back and forth, but it will work from inside your rig to the person standing outside. So if you're up in the mountains, you don't have any cell service or anything, then get yourself a couple radios. Don't use ham radios unless you are a licensed ham operator. But there are radios like these that you can buy that you do not need to be a ham radio operator. And so you're not committing a, I don't even know if it's a felony, but it's some major thing with radios and the FCC, and if they decide to come and get you, then, then There's not much you can say about it if you're using them. So the better thing to do is to grab some radios, cheap ones that don't cost a lot and they don't require a license or anything. There's a lot of them out there. So no reason to use these ham radio ones. And so use the radio to talk back and forth. That gives you better signals and things, just like with your cell phones. So anyway, just something to keep in mind as you're backing up. I'm hoping that this is of help to you today. Thanks for watching. And again, give me some comments. Put in comments below. Help other people. Anything that you can think that would help them be better at doing this, give them some guidance too. So all we can do is help each other out, and that's the whole purpose of this YouTube channel. So let's help everyone out. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you down the road, and until then, take care.